Well, welcome to another live stream. Thanks for joining me. My name's Nigel May, and as you can see, you're here probably because of the emails that have been sent out and how we've been communicating over the past few weeks. What I want to talk about today is what happens after the live stream. Once someone sees you live, what are they going to do? What's the next thing they're going to do? They're going to visit your website and do something. And so this is about talking and sharing and just helping everybody understand what the expectations are and what some of the realities are for lots of companies. And to say that there needs to be a structured format for what happens. I mean, obviously you can see me, there's no sign up, there's no gatekeeping, there's no form to fill out. You just click on the link or click on our Facebook page or LinkedIn page, not LinkedIn, Facebook and YouTube, and you can see us and talk to us and message us. So there's no restriction, there's no barrier. But one of the points of this, and one of the main things about live streaming, is I would say live streaming over the next, I don't know how quickly this is going to happen, but very, very quickly. So it's not, this isn't going to be drawn out. But live stream is becoming mainstream. It's quite popular. Of course, it's popular on Facebook and YouTube because anybody that's got an iPhone can go and do it. But this is a different application for it. And that's the point. We know about the innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. We all know that in B2B. And it's the early adopters. I mean, we could say that we're the innovators because we're using this as a different application. But it's the early adopters that have to think about and think, okay, well, maybe we should look at this, maybe not. But I've got some interesting statistics here. Let me just put this screen up. Wrong screen. Hang on. Just click there. There we go. LinkedIn this week. LinkedIn did wrote an article. Let me just bins on that said that 50% of businesses sought external finance in one form or another over the past 12 months. 43% received emergency loans, and 33% of UK businesses expect to shrink in the next 12 months. So bottom line, if businesses, and we talk to the SME market, if SMEs don't do something radical, dramatic, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, they're not going to have a business. And so historically, what have people tended to do when it comes to running a business and driving a business forward when times are tough, when times are hard? Well, the first thing they do is get on the phone. Get on the phone, start cold calling, because that's surely by far the quickest, easiest method to do that. Now, you might want to get a pen for this, just to make a note of some of these figures. I'm just going to read this again. I came across some information, or I was talking to someone, and they shared some information with me about their company appointing a professional telesales company. So bearing in mind, times are hard, let's move to telesales. So these are the statistics. They'll surprise you. So, engaged telesales company, they did 220 days work and achieved 40 leads. So at 70 calls a day, it worked out to odds of 385 to 1. So 70 calls a day, give or take. And if you're looking at it financially for them, it cost them £2,300 per lead. Now, everybody knows. I say everybody, anybody that's done cold calling, I've done it a long time ago. I've employed multiple groups of people to do telesales for me. Back in the day, not now. And calling 100 people, this is when it was reasonably active, and we had dialing facilities on our systems and so on and so on. So, but if you're looking at calling 100 people a day, you'll get through to 10% of them, and of those 10%, one might be interested, maybe not. So it's really, whereas that's what it used to be. 385 to 1. My figures were wrong. Nearly 4 times out of it, out of sync, so to speak. So it's breathtaking that this is the knee-jerk reaction is to go to telesales. Times are hard. Get rid of marketing, which I kind of agree with. Not all of it, but most of it. But to adopt an approach to telesales is costly, ineffective, slow burn. And of course, you wouldn't put your top salesperson on the phone. You're not going to get him to sit there all week, more than all week, just to get through to one person to maybe have a conversation. And of those 40 I mentioned with that company, that's just handing it over. Salespeople haven't phoned them yet and qualified them, requalified, which is what every salesperson would do. And then you've got that whole process of, you've got someone on the phone or people on the phone. How can a business be sustainable based upon that approach? So then we have to look at. I made some notes for today. Normally I do this off the cuff, but I have to do this little bit differently. So when it comes to adjusting or changing, telling a business to go and spend a load of money, it ain't going to happen. And if anybody was to suggest to some of these SMEs that have been out there borrowing money, okay, great, now pay us 100 grand to do a telesales campaign for you. Most businesses, I say most, but I'd laugh at them. You've got to be kidding. 385 to 1. You've got to be joking. So what's the answer? What's the alternative? And that's what this is all about. That's what this whole live stream approach and delivery is all about. What's the alternative? And the alternative is streaming, because we go back to our 1%, 100 to 1, obtain 10,000 email records, which you probably have most of them anyway. If you've been around any length of time, your database will have swelled over time. Email everybody and invite them to watch your live stream. 1% of 10,000, every business would be more than happy, be over the moon, having 100 people watch them. Maybe the figures would be a bit different. Could be 200 people watching you. Happy days. That's what everybody wants. They want to have a conversation. Now we've got a setup, and within this setup, it means I can communicate to you. You can message me if you want to message me. You can do anything you like. You can ask questions anonymously, and that's what this is all about. It's about anonymity. Cold calling is direct. Hiding your content behind an email form is not an anonymous contact, and it is transactional. If I were to do it, I would be demanding information of you for me to give you my information. And therein lies the fundamental problem within marketing. And that's where the issue arises when we shift over to where does and what does somebody do once they've seen you live. I mean, I've done some previous live shows and videos about what it takes, and I saw a really interesting thing the other day. There was a guy that, with laptops and with kit and hardware, we know that you can have automated processes within it. So that's the first thing. The second thing, because of Nest and Google and automation and Apple and all the other different things that are available, you can put near field contacts connected to your iPhone. And so this guy had his studio set up. So he walked in, the studio was completely black, completely dark, and he went over to a near field tab that he had underneath his desk, put his phone next to it, and his whole office lit up. All the lights came on, all the kit turned on, the camera turned on, everything turned on, including all of the correct settings to go live. And all he did, click, go live. That's it. So it could be all turned off, one touch, and you go live. Wonderful. The near field tabs were, you get a pack of them on Amazon for like 10 quid. So the approach to this is compared to anything else that you've done marketing wise and new business generation wise, it's minuscule. So here we go. So you've got this process of obtaining your database. You've got 10,000 records. You're sending the information out. You've driven that traffic. You're driving that traffic every week to come and watch you. Now, part of the process is to say on your website, and that's what we've got on ours. And I'll put it up for the sake of this, because this is, if it's live, it's live. So if I just switch over to the other page and then go to our live streaming page, I just need to refresh this. We have, I don't know why it says not currently offline, but we're online, because I know we're online. We've got here, under live stream planner, we've just said these are the 7 that we're going to do. These are the 7 events, live stream events that we're going to do. And then once we've streamed and recorded, we then put up and post up the episodes. Simple as that. So the point I'm making is that create an email, send it out, reach 10,000 people, attract a small percentage, which is exactly what you want. If people are absolutely not interested in what you're doing, they'll unsubscribe. That's fine. As long as you've got that must be on there. It must be a process. But you're sending these emails out. The whole thing about GDPR and spam and everything else is, you know that this would be of interest to you or to them. And so I'll just go back to my notes here a second. So just to go back to it, the point here, the point here is that your business needs new contacts. Your business needs to be connected with more people now than ever before. You as a business must have a USP. Your product may well be very good, etc., etc. But if you have no methodology that enables people to engage with you, kind of from a distance, to say, well, I don't want to have a conversation yet. I just want to have a dabble. I just want to have a look. I just want to see what you do and see how you work. They'll visit your live stream. So when they go to your website, who's it for? What's it for? And one of the things I touched on before was ABM. So if you look at ABM, ABM is logical, but it's only relevant if your business creates content for each individual target person. So if you've got a CTO, COO, and say 5 different people in that buying group, you've got to write for each one of them. Call it 4. You'll see why. So say there were 4 people. Each week, you're able to do a live stream specifically to COOs or CTOs or managing directors. And as a managing director watching this, you would go live. You would communicate to them and say, listen, I understand I run this company, I do this, I understand the problems you go through, these are the typical questions we get, yada, yada, yada. It makes the whole company accessible and authentic for the absolute least amount of cost. So let's just move on to what happens afterwards. I mean, this won't be a massively long live stream. I've seen some live streams that are like 3 hours long. I mean, I know I can talk, but 3 hours, God. So what happens afterwards? So they've visited you, and like I showed up here, we've got this ticker tape at the bottom that says visit our website for videos, podcasts, articles, infographics, and downloads, and so on. Now, the thing about this is that so many businesses have been convinced that they have to put all of their good content behind an email form before you allow them to download or access it. And do you really want to do that? And what we want to do in spades is help people identify the difference between B2B and B2C. I'm not teaching you to suck eggs, but there's a difference because marketing automation works extremely well for B2C. Because, I mean, I use it all the time. I'll download stuff all the time. I'll say, yes, we've got this. Yes, we've got this information. You've got this information that I want to look at. And I've got a message up here. I'll come back to that message in 1 second, Liz. I will look at information and say, I want to buy that. I want to learn about that information personally. Therefore, I will give my Gmail account address to download it. I will then get a stream of emails afterwards, and then I will unsubscribe. Business to business. So we now look at B2B. Same thing happens. You force people to give you an email address and contact details. They go, oh, yeah, okay, here's my email address. And they give the main company number. And instantly, as soon as that company gets that information, they on the phone, hi, can I speak to so-and-so? Why? Oh, we downloaded a document. And? Well, I'd like to talk to him about it. Which number did he give you? This number now. Well, if he didn't give you his mobile number, you have to email him. And if he emails you back, he'll have his number on the bottom of the email. Oh, bye. That happens a few times, and then they go and go through the unsubscribe and unsubscribe from the list. So it's finished. So it ends up becoming a complete waste of time. And then I've mentioned before, people use companies like Leave Forensics. But let me just have a look at Liz's question. It says, in your opinion, do you think you could do more than one live stream a week to your target database? I think you could. And if I just go down here, we'll add that to the broadcast so you can see that. So here we go. Would we do that? And I think I'm looking at that lovely picture there. Yes, you could. Is it staged? No, I didn't ask you to do that question. But yes, you could, because it depends on who are you targeting. If you've got lots to say, if you've got complex products, if you've got multiple tools, strategies, and so on, yes, you could. Say you didn't, but you did have people that sell, so you've got multiple products, you've got the whole feature, attribute, benefit approach that you could present, you've got presentation demonstrations of hardware, you've got customer services, you've got support services, you've got events that you're doing as a company. There are so many different things that you could do in terms of live. And the fact that you can have multiple people involved in a live stream, it becomes far more interactive and dynamic and engaging. And so I think that the creativity that this lends itself to is almost immeasurable. And it starts, my personal feeling, it starts to make, you want to call that word prospecting, it puts it on a completely different level. I mean, this is exciting. This is different. We haven't got any competition doing this. I'm pleased to say there are people that can teach live streaming, this, that, and the other. But we're using this for B2B. So we're saying, right, we'll get things set up in the first place. And if you do have different people on your database, like Liz mentioned about multiple events, multiple streams each week, you can send out your emails just to those people to say we're doing one specifically for you. And it's, I mean, I've got another one here. Hang on a second. This is another one from Dean. It says, if you're selling a complex solution that requires a consultative sale, would a live still work? I think this is, it's really important, this question, because my background is selling complex solutions. My background started off doing telecoms, then integration and CTI, integration with CRM integration with marketing automation platforms and so on. So everything that I've ever been involved in has been complex in terms of the interconnectivity, making it work, but moreover, you have to make a business case out of it, and you've got to be able to justify it, because if you can't, they ain't going to buy it. So so consultative selling, this I think is the perfect solution for consultative selling, and I kind of feel that all B2B is, because if you were selling a physical product, say printers, I don't call it printers, here's our latest printer. You walk around, you've got cameras set up, you're doing a demonstration of a multi-use printer. You've got software. And because you have things like this that you're able to switch from screen to screen and show them and so on, you're maintaining your branding in terms of what you're presenting people. So for consultative selling, it's spectacular. I think especially because not only can you show them through the product, you can do this, you can show them through the product at scale. I think people in today's economy, it's not that people are reluctant to have a meeting. You just can't. So there's no choice about it. And people can be pro-mask or not mask. But the likelihood that you have to go to a safe place with masks, without masks, if you're not, it's complicated. This isn't. Click go live and you can speak to people. Tell them what you're going to talk about, and you can continue a conversation with them, because if they see you, if they like what they see, if they like how you've presented, if they like your product, we've now presented this to you, and if you'd like, we'll have the details at the end of the live show. All you have to do is go to our website and go to this section or that section, and everyone's, this is where we're at. Here's the drop down. This is what we do. The point of this is it's adapting. It's creating it's creating a process that says we can do what we need to do at scale, and that's something that telemarketing, teleselling, teleappointments have never been able to do, because it always starts off with a conversation. I don't want to see anybody. I just want to have a chat with someone about it. Send me some stuff. Email me something. And that's kind of one of the other problems, is that many organisations don't have a sufficient content to send at the click of a button. Depends how their CRM set up, obviously. But the desire is to gatekeep it. The desire is to get them into the funnel. And therefore, no amount of clever, smart, twee, or whatever you want to call it, marketing, can ever start the conversation. Because people just want to dip in, have a look. Do I like them? Do I like the look of them? Do I like how they sound? Do I like how they present? Yeah, I'll continue with this. And the fact that it's only 1%, and then you've got lead times. If you're selling a high ticket value product, then you've got lead times. People just don't chuck 100 grand at a deal, no matter what it is. or 10 grand a month, or whatever, even if it's a subscription model. I'm not going to do it. It's going to be a considered purchase, and that purchase, unlike B2C, that purchase is something that must impact the business financially positively. Nobody's going to chuck money at something just for the sake of it. And so every B2B purchase is considered, and that's why we have to be as open and transparent as possible for people to know, like, and trust us, those kind of sayings, and move them down that path. I think that it's as you move them down that path, what happens next? You know, you can have your most chatty, gregarious, fun person in front of the camera. Not a description people would use with me, I don't think. But you can have 1 or 2 or 4 or 5 people on the screen, and we had that last week with 4 of us having a conversation. But it's what happens afterwards. And if they go to your website and then they can't get access to anything, yet you've made yourself completely transparent and accessible on a live stream, then what? So let's kind of look at it. Let's look at what it needs to be, starting with the structure of your content. If someone wants to learn about you, they need to be able to learn about you. If they want to learn about your product, they need to be able to learn about your product. And so if you look at something that's written, if something is written, it needs to be of a certain length. It needs to be informative. But if you consider that most people, most businesses, gatekeep their content, it means Google can't see it. And in a way, it means you've not been given any gauge as to whether your content's any good or not when it gets, for an end user, unless you've extensively researched and given it out and got feedback from lots of people as to whether your content's any good or not. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, who is it written for? How is it written? So it's got to be written for a 12-year-old. It's got to be of a certain length. It's got to include bullets and numbers and number lists and links and video, all of it, all condensed into one document. And that way Google looks at it and says, we like that. We'll push you up the search engine. Because the other part of this process is if you gatekeep everything, you then need to use Google for pay-per-click and get pay-per-click, or you pay pay-per-click to get people to your landing page, which hopefully they will. So there's a barrier with the pay-per-click, there's a barrier with the landing page, and hopefully they may or may not fill out the form. So you've introduced 3 barriers already. Imagine if you had no barriers, they could just get it. You want conversations, you want people to know about you, you want to tell your story. And if anybody's read Dale Carnegie, it's all about reading, how to win friends and influence people. It's about telling your story to as many people as possible. Today's economy, wish you luck. But you can do it this way. And that's why this is so important. This is I'm going to be kind of like a dog with a bone with this. This ain't going to go away. This is not going to go away anytime soon. And every business wants conversations. If you can't get those conversations, if those were the odds at nearly 400 to 1, you need to have a bigger reach. You can't get a bigger reach because you're not going to employ more people. Let's back onto it. So in terms of your content, your written content, very important. And then where the problem comes in a way is if you're looking at ABM, you need to have multiples of those because it's relevant for each individual person. So it's essential that even right now, after this live stream, you go and look at your own content, evaluate your own content. If you look at our website and go onto the consultancy pages, you will see links and information that explains about how a document needs to be structured, and the typical length and why, and what you need to do to increase your exposure on the search engines and your relevance. So that's written content. You've then got video type content. And I'll come on to live stream in a second, but you've got videos. So you can create videos for anything. But it's important that you've got them. Each video that you do, many people know that if you look at a video on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook, you'll get subtitles. But those subtitles are live. which means the audio within your video or live stream, the audio within it is presented live, but the search engines don't know what you're saying, and they don't keep that information. They don't store it anywhere. So you post up a business video, it's there, turn captions on or off, but Google does not know what you've said. Yes, that's where structured data comes into play. So your structured data then says, on my page I have a video, and within my video this is what it says, and there's a specific section within structured data that you would put the transcript. And that means the relevance of doing that means that the search engine, voice search engines, know what your video is about. So when you say, hey Siri, I want to look at search engines, I want to look at videos about X, that's how they find them and present them, or represent them as audio if you're listening on Sonos or Alexa or Nest, I think it's Nest, on Google. So that means that when you do a video, you've got to produce a transcript. But then also on that page where you have your video and your metadata for the structured data, you also put that information in as a written transcript. Last week's live show, we spoke for about an hour. We had a technical problem as well, and we got back up and running straight within a few minutes. But we had so it happens. But an hour's conversation produced 17 pages of A4. And those 17 pages of A4 have gone onto our website. The transcript has gone into, and the relevance of the transcript is that you can use it as well and upload that transcript to any of the platforms, and it puts your wording, because it's certain, depending on how you structure it, you can edit your transcript first and make sure that any particular words that may be relevant to your industry can be corrected. So anyway, so we now have 17 pages of content that's been put onto our website. Google crawl that and go, they're experts. They know what they're talking about, because we've got a video and a transcript, and the information is about X, Y, and Z. So it's constantly referencing us and constantly pushing us to the top of the search engines, and that's what you need to do. The same applies to podcasts. Get a transcript of your podcast, post it up. So that's kind of some of the background of it. But the important thing is about not gatekeeping your content. If you've been transparent in terms of delivering a live stream, you must maintain that transparency through your content to give your business the maximum opportunity of connecting with new people. Don't worry about your competition. Your competition are worried more about their own business than they are of yours. That's always been a fact. They're not going to copy you. And even if you do, you've innovated, because you're an innovator. You've innovated beyond where they're, you're always in front. They're always trying to play catch up. So don't worry about competition. Just get out there and do this. And that's the point, is, in my opinion, marketing groups, marketing people have had a detrimental effect to business, B2B businesses. Yeah, they can produce pretty pictures and build websites and so on. Yeah, fine. But by going down this path of gatekeeping and hiding content so they can say, oh, look, we've got a lead. Waste. It's destructive. And it must stop now. And we've got a hashtag, stop cold calling. But also it should be stop marketing automation. Because it doesn't serve anyone. It only serves the marketing people. And I think that I've mentioned this a number of times. The average tenure of a CMO is 18 months here and in the States. So every 18 months they get fired, or they leave before they're pushed. Every 18 months the recruitment companies get to replace someone And every 18 months, managing directors around the world are going, you haven't moved the needle. You've done nothing. You've done nothing new, nothing innovative. You just rehashed it. And they move around the industry, taking their entourage with them, as in their different advertising and marketing design agencies and so on. And so they get their new business from the marketing, from the business of the CMOs moving around an industry, or the industry, the B2B industry, the B2B markets. So it's not me. I'm not just saying, oh, sack them all. I'm just saying, clearly they are not doing a job that is worthy of you keeping them on. And this way, what happens afterwards, once you've gone out and done a live stream, you're in a position that says, here we are. If you like us, come and buy from us. The impact, and I'm going to talk about this, I think, in the next one, but the impact is, if you imagine the amount of people you need to be on the phones constantly to deliver the numbers that you need, those jobs can be significantly reduced. You can put out multiple live streams per week with the minimum of effort. I don't want to say minimum of preparation, but once you've got all this set up and you've got backgrounds done and graphics done and all this down here, click, go live. And if you have someone that knows what they're talking about and has something to say, if you have a larger organisation, you've got loads of people there. And if it's done in a group format, then people are not going to be as phased about it. I haven't got problems sitting in front of the camera. I think we've done about 50, 60 videos or whatever. I don't know, enough. So I'm kind of relaxed in front of the camera, and I happen to have a lot to say. But the point is that if you have multiple staff, all of your leaders, all of your directors, anybody in a customer-facing role will be able to get in front of a camera and deliver this, and they will get better and better at it. And the point is, and I keep stressing this: cold calling is not working at the rate that makes it sustainable for virtually every company out there, every B2B company out there. And that's what the problem is. And people know this, but not enough people have been able to see or can experience this go live process and adoption for B2B software products and services. So that's really, I think, I'm just going to check my notes because I think I covered everything. I think I have. I mean, I don't know if anyone's got any questions they want to ask. I'll just wait a couple of minutes just to see if you've got any final questions. The point here is that we'll go back to, I think it's this one. At the bottom, as you can see across the bottom, visit our website. If you go out once a week, more than once a week, it doesn't matter. You're able to deliver something that can then be used, again, as in it can be recorded. It is recorded. It goes out live and it's recorded. And then it's transcribed and then it's posted on your website. And it stays on, it goes on to LinkedIn, Facebook and YouTube and your website, along with a transcript, along with links, along with the, in the description below, as you've probably seen on YouTube. So your content is exponentially increased every single week, significantly beyond anything that you've ever done, for the minimal effort and in an exciting environment. And you'll be doing something that your competition are not at the moment anyway. So the early adopters are the ones that are going to get the backgrounds done and the foregrounds done and the templates and the graphics and the ticker tapes and all the other things that can be brought into this to make this an exciting show, but it'll be your show. with your logos, your staff, putting out information not nationally, globally. It flips, it changes everything. So I think on that note, I was going to say have a great week. Enjoy tomorrow and the weekend, and I'll see you next Thursday for our next live stream. Bye for now.